You got Ohio State, they look great. You got Oregon, they look fantastic, went to Penn State on a whiteout and won the football game. And in many ways, I think they dominated the game, but Penn State came back in the second half. They did a good job. They didn't just roll over. Texas, Alabama, Georgia, right? Well, here's some of the shockers that are out there that I find really, really intriguing. So Indiana's 5-0. They're ranked number 8 in the country. Think about that for a second. This ain't basketball. This ain't basketball. This is football, and this is the second year of seeing Indiana become a powerhouse, and it's amazing.
And be undefeated until they go see, either Penn State or Ohio State.
Right.
Other than that, Pete, these guys, they beat up a lot of teams in the Big Ten, like that good Illinois team that they put up 60 on.
Yep. And Illinois bounced back. Anyway, so you've got Georgia Tech is undefeated. When's the last time Georgia Tech was 5-0? Honestly, I mean, how about Vanderbilt 5-0? I mean, you look at some of these schools that usually are kind of the group that you're going to say, hey, that's a check mark. We're going to win. Iowa State. I'll tell you what, that coach, Matt Campbell, John, he used to be the head coach at Toledo. I did a couple of those games for ESPN when he was the coach there. He's now been at Iowa State, for a number of years. They're 5-0. They got a quarterback who's doing everything the right way. Now, are they blowing people away? No. But are they winning? Yes. And they're doing a really nice job with it. Well-coached football team. Missouri, none of us have probably seen a game yet this year. They're in the SEC for the people who don't really follow this close enough. But, so you've got an SEC team. They've got a running back by the name of Ahmad Hardy. What has he done so far? He's got 7 yards a carry. He's got 9 touchdowns and 700 yards already in 5 games. Not so bad, I would say. I mean, they're doing pretty good. Vandy's got a quarterback, John, that's thrown 13 touchdowns and 3 interceptions and 1,200 yards. But here's the biggie. Indiana, they took a kid from Cal who was the Cal quarterback last year. They grabbed him and said, look, we like this Fernando Mendoza guy a lot. Well, all he's done is thrown 16 touchdowns and 1 interception and 1,200 yards. I would say that we are seeing some shocking teams all over the country, but some shocking teams that are winning football games. They're undefeated still, and they're deservedly where they are, wherever they're ranked. I think all of these guys, and like I said, I liked seeing Illinois kind of bounce back. I like Bielema. There's just something about that guy. Is he a prick? Yeah, he's a full-on prick. I know him pretty well, but he's a badass. He knows how to coach. I don't know what happened in that Indiana game last week, but whatever it was, they flushed that out, and Illinois is back again. So some really fun football, some real big shockers. Was there anybody who really just stunned you when you were like, they did what in college football last week?
Well, I think you and I, when we talked about who were some of the sleepers, Pete, one that we both mentioned was Missouri.
Yeah.
Because when they're playing at home, those guys are a terror, and they have moved their game up dramatically, not just in the last 2 years, but probably in the last 10, to where you do not want these guys on the schedule. If you could please not have them on the schedule, you'd appreciate it, because this is a team that is capable of being 11-2 every single year. Now, do they do it all the time? No. Football's kind of an oblong thing. But occasionally when they get the bounce, they are exactly that. And, man, they're playing like they want to play. How'd you like that swing pass, Pete, to the 359-pound tackle that Alabama did?
Alabama. I don't want to get rid of them.
Against Georgia. They basically put him out there, and everybody's like, okay, watch the big man. And then they put a couple guys in motion to where all of a sudden they had to pay attention to those guys, the speedsters, and they just threw him the ball, and he barely got a block downfield. He just ran through people on his way to almost scored, Pete.
How athletic is that big son of a gun, which goes back to last week, John, when Philly and that defensive tackle that's as big as a damn house, who ran one of the best 40 times I've ever seen from a man, even over 280, but he's like 350. Unbelievable, right? When you're running sub 5 and you're 300 and some odd, 360 pounds or whatever he is, Pretty unbelievable. He said the last time he ran that far, that fast was at the combine. You got to love it, man. That's what makes football so great. So here's a question for you for number 2 in the NFL. What the hell is wrong with the Baltimore Ravens? They are scoring points, but you know what, John? Here's what I'll say.
You can't stop people.
They don't. What is Baltimore known for? Defense. Obviously, you've got quarterbacks, and you've had many of them until you've got, in my mind, maybe the best quarterback I've seen in a long time or whatever, just because he can do everything. But Lamar Jackson, John, is special. But now you look over at that defense, they can't stop anybody. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They're giving up a boatload of points and yardage and everything you can imagine. I can't figure out what happened to them, why they got so bad so fast. But this year, that defense stinks. Meanwhile, Lamar's only got 9 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, John. He's got a QBR of 141. I mean, this guy is playing at a level like nobody right now, I think. Except, I will throw in there, Jared Goff. People hate why do they dislike this guy, John? I mean, I look at him and I'm like, holy crap, yeah, he didn't really do this when he was out in L.A., except for 1 year. I think they moved the chains pretty good. But he gets to Detroit. Everybody gives him flack about this, that, and the other, and they got Stafford leading them to the Super Bowl and all this other kind of crap. Meanwhile, he's probably, over the last 2 years, maybe the best quarterback when you look at all the different elements of what he's brought to the game. So I think he's special, and I'll even throw out a shout-out to your old team, the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams, whether you like him or not, and I'm in the not category, but he's playing really good football. He is doing a really good job for the Bears, I think, John. I mean, you know what? It's only his second year. He's only played whatever it is, 20 games or something like that. But the guy's starting to get it, and he's starting to look like a real professional quarterback in a big way. Maybe it's because they're helping keep guys off him. Maybe it's because the offensive line's doing a little bit better job not getting sacked. Everything. But what do you think about some of these guys, and what the hell is wrong with Baltimore?
Well, Baltimore, they always had, Pete, as we both know, a couple big Samoans or Tungans who are just natural born, run stoppers. Yep. And you can't move them out of there. And then if you have a linebacker cutting off their butt, meaning, cutting right, cutting left, as that big guy just launches himself into 2 people that it takes to hold him back. That was, I think, one of the things that used to really separate them from the other teams. And obviously Harbaugh is a defensive-minded coach. So he has to be just pulling his hair out over this, Pete. I think perhaps the linebackers, maybe there's an issue there that they don't, it's been years since Ray Lewis was there. So they've had other great linebackers other than Ray. But right now they don't have one that's really standing out. So, but I would throw this out, Pete. Aaron Rodgers, even though he's got the 3 interceptions this year, he's got 8 touchdowns, 3 intercepts. And when you look at that guy in the game against the Vikings and things, he stands in there for pressure. He doesn't do the tush push. Did you see that? When they did the tush push, he basically handed the ball off and just stepped back, kind of like, okay, guys, go at it. Because, that's a rugby scrum at that point. But he is leading those Steelers, and they're lucky to have him, even though a lot of the haters, of course, still want to hate on him.
Well, you're 100% right, John. And being in Minnesota and me being a little critical of our defensive coordinator that everybody thinks is the second coming of defensive coordinators or whatever, it's another week, John, where we've given up a boatload of yards passing, and the efficiency that he had, Aaron Rodgers had in Dublin, was incredible. And they got a running back. I had to look him up, John. I'd never heard of the guy. I'd never heard his name ever before, and I follow a lot of football at every level. Never heard of the guy. And there he is. He's averaging 5.5, 6 yards a carry. And meanwhile, people say, Pete, it's not the defense's fault. It's the offense's fault. And I'm like, really? Seems like Aaron Rodgers plays against the defense, and that guy's running against the defense. I'd say it's a defensive problem, not an offensive problem. So I don't know. They everybody has their opinions. This guy that we call B-Flow, Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator, They say he's got the most complicated deep. Well, maybe it's too damn complicated. I don't know, but they're not stopping anybody. That's for sure. I mean, they were giving up, I can't remember how many yards per carry when they had a game earlier in the season, John, where they just can't stop anybody. And yet we have the best defensive coordinator in football. It's kind of interesting.
Well, that quick slant by DK Metcalf, Pete, it wasn't like an 80-yard downfield pass, folks. Right. I mean, it was maybe 20, 25 yards from Aaron Rodgers, hit him with a dart right between the numbers, except that guy does catch with his hands. He doesn't like trap it with his body. Yep. And man, was that apparently they run a speed thing on him, Pete, from the cameras up on top. And they say he almost hit 22 miles an hour, which would have been one of the fastest runs ever recorded in the NFL, right up there with the cheetah and all the rest. So, and this is a man that is he's a Georgia Tech guy, Pete. He's a man that's 6'4", 238 pounds, and he's one of the fastest people in the NFL in full uniform. And if you haven't seen that one, go pull that meme up and take a look at that.